Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, SoundClick. It's your boy Tone202 coming at you one more again. The gram. I'll be on the gram. I'll be on Instagram. TTONE 202. Check out my SoundCloud, Tone202, and my album. Just check it out. You can just Google just right there. It'll show up, Tone202. Anyways, it's another excerpt of The NFL is Fixed. And it's kind of like a shout out to one of the most dynamic players who changed the game and made people change around the game, and that is going to be Micheal Vick. And I want to also give some credit to Cordell Stewart, because before Micheal Vick there was a Cordell Stewart, and he kind of helped people adapt to what Micheal Vick was going to bring, but Micheal Vick was still above and beyond when it came to his ability to scramble. He is the most successful scrambling quarterback in the game. He's retired now at 36. He's played for, four different teams? He played for Philadelphia. He played for Atlanta. He played for Pittsburgh. And he played for the Jets. Yeah, I think that's all of his team. I think the last team he played for was Pittsburgh, which is my team if I was going to vote for any team, because I used to live in Pittsburgh. Grew up there. So here's my thing about Micheal Vick. Besides being an extraordinary player, his whole downfall, when he went from making $130 million in a contract to making 12 cents because they put him in jail for dogfighting. Found out that he was using his money that he was getting, when he was playing with Atlanta, to support dogfighting. And, look, I think dogfighting has been around since dogs and humans been around. I think it's still around, as illegal as it may be, because of animal rights organizations that come down on such things. They go after public figures, but they don't go after the underground of it, as far as I know. And somebody can correct me on that. I don't mind being wrong, but we know that dogfighting still exists because it's major money. Nonetheless, they came down on him. It was his own family members that told on him, basically said what he was doing. And he had to pay most of that money back. The owner of the Atlanta Falcons, pretty much, they got their money back. And he ended up being broke. And, then once he came back, he came back for Philadelphia. And they got rid of Donovan McNabb. And, shout out to Donovan. He did his thing for a short time. And then McNabb was traded to the Redskins. I don't know. McNabb was traded, but so, Micheal Vick carried on. And nonetheless, he ended up with Pittsburgh, and then he's done at 36 years old. Now, here's the thing I want to think about Micheal Vick. A lot of people don't know it. He's still one of the fastest people in the NFL, still right now today. A lot of people who get on the field and try to, test him and try to outrun him, these young boys, these 19-year-olders, they're, hey, I'll race you. And Micheal Vick pretty much warns them. He's like, you're going to lose. And they lose to an older guy. He's still that fast right now today. Now, a lot of times what happens with these players is their reflexes go. in one shape, form, or another because the game speeds up every year. And it speeds up for a few reasons. One, because training is more intense. Two, because some of these players are actually using drugs and and they're using drugs, painkillers, or just to try to get their peak performance up. And and then there's drugs that like Colin Kaepernick is using that are not on the list of drugs not to use, but yet they're being looked at. Like, I don't know if we should ban this drug or not. So until there's a ban on those type of drugs, people like Colin Kaepernick uses it now. What some people don't know is Colin Kaepernick is one of the strongest people in the NFL. He can actually curl 110 pounds with one arm. Go to the gym and try that. Any one of you. Go to the gym and try that. He can pick up 110 dumbbell and curl it like several times. Now he's lost muscle mass, and that's probably because they came down on what he was using, so on and so forth. So the game is faster, and even though Michael Vick's leg speed has not left him, a lot of times your reflexes just aren't there. You can't get the ball out fast enough. You might get hit just because you can't see the players coming at you fast enough, and you get hit by somebody like a Ray Lewis or a Von Miller blindsided, and that's enough not to only end your career, that can end your whole life as you know it. You don't want none of that. You know what I'm saying? Manning was lucky when he got hit and, had that neck injury. He was lucky to bounce back from that. He had the best of the best doctors and stuff out there, but a lot of those guys get blindsided. They, you know, it's a bad deal for them. It's a bad deal. Or somebody like the Legion of Boom and what they were doing in the Super Bowl when they played against the Broncos, the freaking offensive players didn't even want to play anymore. But nonetheless, so Michael Vick, like I said, the scrambling game. Nobody has done it better than him. Not Jake the Snake Plummer, not Cordell Stewart, uh, not Colin Kaepernick, and I'm talking about scrambling quarterbacks. Uh, who was that quarterback that played for Arizona? It was I think that was Jake the Snake. But nonetheless, there's no scrambling quarterback ever been as good as Michael Vick, and I just wanted to give a shout out to him now. As far as that trouble he got into, it makes you wonder. You guys know I like to do this. Did Michael Vick know that the NFL is fixed? Because remember, I started believing that the NFL got fixed back in 2005. This was 2010 when he was on top of the world. And then fell to the bottom and then tried to climb his way back up. Did he know? Like, this is a question I'm asking you people out there. Do you think Michael Vick was in on it? I mean, you got to understand, they built a stadium for this guy. They built a stadium for him. Atlanta is known for being very loyal and throwing a lot of money into one particular player. They do this all the time. They did the same thing with Showtime. What was his name? I can't think of his name, but he played for a bunch of teams. Either the defensive player must be the money. Guy used to go in the end zone like this. You guys know who I'm talking about. The one he got stiffed in the face by Bo Jackson in college. Bo Jackson just took him. It was just like, get out of here. Sanders, Deion Sanders, that's the name. But do you think Michael Vick is in on it? Now, some people will say, just like the Hernandez case, they'll say, well, being that Michael Vick didn't want to participate in certain things or didn't want to help fix a game, he was punished. And his punish was severe. They took all of his money and they threw him in jail for, what, 2 years? So on and so forth. And once again, I think those cases are very extreme. But it's just one question. I don't believe that Michael Vick was knowledgeable of the NFL being fixed. until Super Bowl time. I believe his punishment was not because he didn't want to do something particular in the NFL, but I'm not going to say that that wasn't part of it because you guys know there's a lot of people who got their hands in the NFL, legal and illegal. So, I never looked at that aspect of it until recently. I'm like, dogfighting, 2 years? They took away $130 million from you? They penalized you indefinitely until who? Rex Ryan? Was like, hey, come on over here to the Eagles, play second string. And then they was like, we're going to get rid of the guy who, pretty much took us to championships. We're done. Donovan McNabb, you're done. Micheal Vick, let's do it. And he got heavily criticized for that. So I'm just saying. See, this also helps us look at any future punishment of star players and start to think like, is Roger Goodell like we got to start looking at how Roger Goodell punishes people and or doesn't punish people, because to me he didn't really punish Tom Brady that much. Tom Brady was still riding high even with that little weak punishment they tried to give him. It was nothing. Just imagine if they took away Tom Brady's money for cheating. Like, we gonna strip you of $10 million or $100 million or whatever. You banned it indefinitely. I mean, just think if that happened to Tom Brady. So I'm gonna say that I'm not sure if Micheal Vick knew. Here's all of his pictures. I'm not gonna say Micheal Vick was a part of the system in the early days, but I believe once he got hit with those penalties, he was a part of the system. He was, and when I say a part of the system, I mean he was knowledgeable now of what he was into. I'm not sure that his punishment was because he refused to do something as far as fix a game. You know what I mean? Not throw a game, throw it to the wrong receiver, decide that I don't feel like fumbling the ball so and so can get back on the field, score, and go to a championship game and or win a Super Bowl. I'm not going to. I'm not going to do that. And in return, all of a sudden, your family member tells on you, and your whole career comes down. But it's possible. You guys see where I'm going with this. I know it sounds like rambling, but it's not if you really start looking into what's happening to some of these players. And like I said, I think the NBA or the NFL start being fixed back in 2005 when the military start being heavily involved. And they start showing up on the sideline and making everybody stand up. Then it was un-American not to stand up. I think that happened then. And I think Micheal Vick could have been one of those people at the early stages who has been an example. But mind you, he had already been playing. But I think they might have made an example of him. That's what I think. And then he became knowledgeable of what is actually happening. Now, once you get into that loop, like this is what you do, of course the man is going to come back and play because he had mad skills. But he never rose to the top where he was before. He wanted to play for Washington before he left. He was like, don't get me excited. He really wanted to play for Washington because he came out of there. I think he came out of He was a Hokie. And he was third runner-up for a Heisman. So, but it you guys know where I'm going with this. We who believe the NFL is fixed, we can start mapping. We can start a timeline now where we can look at certain events, and then we can take that timeline and extend it into the future because it's habitual. And we can go, this is what's going to happen here. And when it happens, we're just like, boom, this is our evidence of that it's fixed. Now it's like, we're not Dr. Zhivago. It's not a big deal to some people, but it helps us to get the message to other people like, look, just look at it for fun. The games are fixed. Just have fun with it because these are real athletes out here, but don't take it so serious. That's all that we're really saying. I think the NFL is fixed, and nobody told Micheal Vick. More to about.